If you're new to my channel, welcome. My name is Anna Jorgensen. I'm a dating coach for men in Vancouver, Canada. When you're in a relationship, both parties are responsible for helping each other be content. It's not your whole responsibility, but you have to actually contribute. Otherwise, it's not a healthy relationship. So there are 10 things that you can do potentially to help get her back if she hasn't already met someone else, if there's a chance that she's still willing to come back and it's not too late. Oftentimes, men don't see the hints or they ignore the hints that might be there for years in advance of her leaving. And at some point, she will eventually go, I've tried enough, if she has, and I'm just done. And in which case, you might not be able to get her back no matter what you do. But here are the solutions that could potentially get her back if there is a chance. And if you want her back, maybe you need to step back and evaluate whether or not she's really the right person for you. So keep that in mind. Just because someone leaves you doesn't mean that's a bad thing. It might be a good thing. So you might want to take a few minutes to evaluate whether or not she's actually still the right person for you. Okay, so the 10 things that you can do to entice her back. Number 1, if you've stopped wooing, if you've stopped seducing her, then you need to start that all over again. You need to go right back to the courtship stage where you were doing whatever you were doing that impressed her in the first place, because it's not as though she's not potentially capable of being attracted to you because she's already been there. So you just need to go back and start doing the things that you did in the beginning that won her over. This is like something you need to do for life. Sorry guys, but if you want the woman to do the things for life that keep you happy, then you need to do the things that keep her happy. So that's how it is. And it's like giving is receiving. I don't know. Okay, so start wooing, start trying to impress her again if you've stopped this. So this is not if you've been needy, clingy, and over attentive, but if you stopped doing those things, then start doing those things again. Introduce mystery and predictability and maybe some sense of, spontaneity, where she can remember who you were in the beginning. And then number 2, take up a new interest that doesn't involve her. So autonomy is attractive, and in a very small way, it will expose you to a different world where you might meet other women. Now, the intention isn't to actually meet other women, but the side effect is that your woman will realize that you're out in the world being exposed to new women and becoming a more interesting person, and that will increase attraction on her part if it's not too late. Okay, number 3 is get back in the gym, take out the garbage, and get a job. So this is basically, if all these things, again, have slacked, you need to start working on them again. And this is actually more for you than for her, because if these areas have slacked, you have probably become a slightly different person. When we lose our job, when we get out of shape, when we stop helping out and contributing, we feel less worthy, and it is reflected in all of our actions. And she feels that. And aside from the fact that it's not as attractive. So if you do these things where you've slacked off, then you'll be happier, you'll have more self-esteem, self-respect, confidence, and she will also be more appreciative of that, of course. Number 4 is to start rounding out your life as if you were single without crossing any loyalty lines. So of course, if you're in a monogamous relationship, you're not gonna, go out and do anything inappropriate with other women, but you need to go out where there are other women. Like go out with your guy friends if you slacked off on that, and start taking up a life as though you were single, so that, again, she can see that you are taking care of your own needs. Because that old line, you complete me, I've said this in many other videos, or maybe I've written it in the comments, but you complete me, nah-uh-uh. You got to complete yourself. You need to be whole and fulfilled within your own life, for the most part, to be able to add someone to your life, to be a bonus. So that will make you more interesting, and that will also make you feel better. And when you feel better, you're going to act differently. She's going to be intrigued by you getting back out in the world. And maybe even if she still has interest, she might be feeling a little bit insecure. And we don't want to cause insecurity in another person intentionally, but in this respect, it's healthy, and not the insecurity, but the getting out and, having a life. And the reality is that psychologically, when you're out improving yourself and increasing your value, she automatically is going to question her own value and subconsciously believe that she needs to stay with you or to keep up with you, or that you are more valuable and she'll want to be there with you. Number 5, don't beg or chase. All that does is look like a needy little boy. And again, she doesn't want a dependent, she wants a man. So you need to desire her, but you cannot need her. Even if you feel that way inside, she needs to believe that you want her, but you don't need her. Then she can absolve her nurturing maternal instinct and see you as a man instead of a boy. Okay, number 6. Understand that she might not understand why she's pulling away, but she may give you false reasons that are maybe surface level, you didn't take up the garbage, where the reality is beneath the surface, the real reason is that she feels neglected or taken for granted or whatever it might be. So what she tells you might be something surface, but even if you do that thing, it might not absolve her underlying feelings. So do listen to her, but don't take everything to heart, because it might not be the real reason why she's actually pulling away. 7, if your mood has gone down, if you are Dougie Downer or whatever, it's just a major turnoff, because once again, she will feel this expectation or obligation, or as a team player, she may be feeling like she's doing all of the cheerleading and you are not helping in the teamwork of that. So for example, if you've lost your job or you've had some kind of health condition, anything where maybe you kind of let your own masculine self-esteem sort of slide down into a depression or a victim mentality mode, that's a really major turnoff. So if that's happened, again, you need to do some of these other steps that I've said already to get back into a more positive variation of energy and mood, because being around someone who's a downer is a downer, and eventually we just become repulsed and repelled by that, and we want to get away from it. So that's something, again, that you can control. In line with this, where you may have lost some masculinity, number 8 is that you need to start making more leadership decisions in the relationship. And what can happen over time in relationships is that if a woman is not happy with the choices that a man is making, she'll start to make her own choices. And you need to always be able to rein that in and lead. Even if your choices aren't what she would prefer, you have to be the leader in the relationship. Because if you don't, if you start just getting frustrated because she's challenging you on every decision, you need to learn how to handle that. Because if you don't handle that, and that's actually sort of a shit test, and there's a whole playlist on shit tests, why women do them and how you can handle them, and they are natural, but not fun, I know that. But anyways, so if you've kind of slacked in the leadership role, then she will automatically feel like she needs to take over, but she really doesn't want to. She doesn't want to be in that role. She wants you to lead, but you need to be an effective leader. So you need to get back in that role of making decisions. And if you've really slacked off because you're just like every decision I make, she doesn't like, well, you need to start being bold enough to start making smaller decisions that maybe don't have as huge an impact on the important things of the relationship, like whatever, she's taken over finances, you might have to work your way back up to being the leadership in finances, but you can choose a restaurant. So anytime where you're able to start making small leadership choices where, no, this is what we're going to do, I'm going to make this choice today, then you need to start doing that and doing it more and more and more. And even if you screw up, then just try again. And you're going to have conversations with her about her reaction to you screwing up. But again, go through some of the shit test videos because that might help you there. And once she trusts you that you can lead, even if you're not making all the best decisions, then she will be able to release control of that and settle back into her feminine. And when she's in her feminine, she's going to be more receptive. Penis, vagina. You know what I mean. Anyways, maybe you don't. Okay. The woman receives, the man pokes her. You get what I'm talking about. Okay, so number 9 is you don't want to tell her why you're doing all these things just yet. she'll be like wondering what the heck. She'll probably think you're like having an affair, or maybe you had an affair and you cut it off and now you're repenting by acting better. So don't tell her just yet, because you want to give her some mystery, right? Women need mystery. I mean, we all get bored when things become stagnant and the same and predictable over time. So don't tell her exactly what you're doing, but she is going to probably question you, or like start looking at you like, what the heck's going on here? Because you're becoming a different person. Maybe you're becoming the person you used to be that she was attracted to, but it's going to take some time for her to actually trust that. So that's another side note, is that this stuff might not work overnight. It might take some time for her to trust that she can become attracted to you again, and it might take some time for her just to be able to physically become attracted to you again. So don't tell her just yet why you're doing all these things. If she asks you, just say, I feel like it. And then number 10, if none of the above work, then yes, talk to her about it. If you're in a longer term relationship, if you're in the courting stage, just let her go. Move on with your life. Don't do this. But if you're in a long-term relationship, especially if you have children involved, you need to talk to her about it, and you may even need to go to counseling to work things out. And also remember to be patient. It took a certain amount of time to get to this stage where she wants to pull away. And it's probably longer than you've imagined, because men don't speak hint, which women think they do, but they don't. Most men don't speak hint. So women are giving you clues that any woman would definitely pick up on right away. But because you're a man, you don't pick up on that. So she's been thinking about it a lot longer than you realize. So just remember that it's going to take some time to get her back. So you just need to get back into reclaiming your masculinity and start being playful and teasing and fun and mysterious and all the qualities that originally attracted her in the first place. And it's going to feel really weird the longer you've been together and the longer you've been in this pattern of not doing those things. It's gonna feel weird. But if you want to stay in the relationship, you're gonna have to be the brave one and step out of your comfort zone to get back to the person you used to be, or start becoming a better person than maybe you just stagnated to becoming at this time. Because in a healthy relationship, both parties actually continue to grow and become their better selves. And this doesn't mean financial success. It doesn't mean fame or anything like that, but just growing as a person so that you don't become stagnant and boring to each other. Now, what happens if you do all these things and it doesn't work? Well, you might have to face the fact that you're no longer compatible and you are going to have to deal with a broken heart. So evaluate where you went wrong in the relationship that you regret. Like, did you let go of doing things because you really don't ever want to do that in a relationship ever, for anyone, ever, ever, ever? If that's a thing that she needed and you just don't want to do that, then maybe she wasn't the right girl for you. And it's okay to move on and just put that on your list. Like, I definitely don't ever want to have to do that in a relationship again. Or I definitely want my girl to do whatever in a relationship. Like, keep in mind that there are a bunch of things that she probably has done, especially in longer term relationships, where she's slacked off and then you slack off and it becomes this vicious cycle. So you need to be able to know what things are deal makers and deal breakers for you as well. And I mean, actually I go over this a lot in my Wake Up to Love course. So you know what things are the real deal breakers and which things really aren't, so that you can filter effectively the next time around, or even maybe this time around if you need to. So those are the 10 things that you can do to help get your ex back if she's pulling away. And there's still a chance that she is ready, willing, and able to come back to you. And remember, guys are like dogs. You're really loyal and you take everything at face value. Generalities again. And women are more like cats. We're really aloof and fickle. We're fickle. Thank goodness we got the JJs.